Vitek here from Wani. With us, we have one and only legendary Yngwie Malmsteen. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, thank you.
World on Fire came out last year. 40 years of hard work, albums, touring. All I have is just one question for you, that how are you able to keep this creative fire burning into your, literally now into the 5th decade of writing and touring?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's funny because I was just talking to my son about that, and it's because in order to keep making music and playing it live and writing music, in order to make it so that it's exciting, is to challenge yourself all the time. So in other words, by challenging, I don't mean I gotta do something different, do this, that. No, not different. Just challenge yourself in the sense where it's something that comes from, you don't even know where it comes from. It just kind of like happens, and you become almost like a spectator.
Right.
You're almost like the listener, the witness to what's going on. You need to sort of like disconnect yourself. It's very difficult to understand, to explain rather. And I don't know exactly what happens, but there's certain moments when that happens, either on the record or on stage, almost all the time, because I allow it to happen that way. But in the studio it's different, because in the studio you sort of like, you try something, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And I have the luxury of my own studio, so I just wait until it happens. But that's pretty much what I do. I mean, like if the inspiration is not there, I just leave it alone.
Yeah, you don't force yourself.
No, I don't think that's that. I don't think so. I don't think you can do that, unless it's gonna be not honest.
Indeed. And now, fans have been waiting, since the World on Fire came out. You've been touring, and now that you're coming back to UK after more than a decade, how does it feel? I mean, fans have been waiting for years and years and years, and finally it's happening. I'm sure you must be pumped.
Absolutely. It's been a long time coming, and we're gonna exceed all the limits of what's been expected, I'm sure, because I'm just very excited about this. I can't wait.
Why actually did it take such a long time? I mean, your fans here in UK, love you and would, have been waiting for this moment for years. Was it because you were too involved in touring with the other countries, or it's just that the stars didn't align?
Yeah, it wasn't really like a deliberate thing, For the longest time, I did, I just came off a long American tour, and before that I did a long Asian tour, and it's just kind of like how the things fall into place, and it's not like it's just for some reason hasn't been coming up, but I'll make up for it, I promise.
Absolutely, that's a very good day. How's been the response so far for the touring cycle of World on Fire?
Very well. I mean, amazing actually. Just quite reflecting a little bit about we did like 40 gigs here in the States now, and it was extremely successful. We played very large venues, and they were all like packed in, and it was for America, that's a little more finicky market. So it actually was such a good success that we got to do another American leg now in fall. So yeah, so I'm very surprised. I'm very happy.
Fantastic. Absolutely. Yes. You said the bigger venues, different venues, and you played literally everywhere around the world, and I'm sure there must be certain venues where the audience reciprocates most of your style of music, and I'm sure that's something as an artist you feel really happy about. So which venues did actually connect? You connected with it, the fans connected with you on a much deeper and the bigger level as compared to every other venue you've been playing since decades?
Yeah, you know what? I would have had a very clear answer to that question were it be a few years ago, and I would say, yeah, well, the American market, you have to play a little smaller places, and Japanese would be, automatic kind of thing, and certain parts of Northern Europe would be so and so and whatever. But I gotta be honest with you, man, it's become such a global thing now. I mean, I just did 3 nights in Seoul, Korea, where, Elton John played, where it's like, same here in the States, it's like the venues have actually become, it's basically it's become a more of a even thing worldwide, and also a larger thing worldwide. So I'm extremely pleased. It's not like, oh yeah, this is not so good and this one's great. You know, they're all great. You know, South America, South Asia, whatever. I mean, you know, all these areas. It's like, it's not been a bad tour response for quite some time now. So, you know, I could just be very happy, you know.
Absolutely. You recently completed the Generation X tour with Steve Vai, Zakk, Nono. And you know, yes. I know everyone. You know, we caught you guys in States, and you went to every other country. So you know, do you think that the current generation of rock and metal guitar players will ever produce another virtuoso in the same league as yourself or even Steve?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. You know, it seems to be a timeless thing. You know, the guitar thing. You know, I think you had a little bit of a hiatus for a while there. And it's almost become like what we, like, you know, me and Steve and so on, what we've been doing for all this time is now become like a new thing again, you know. So that results in, you know, younger kids. My son, for instance, he's gonna, you know, blow all your people's minds. Just don't worry about that. He's putting his record together now, and he's gonna be just, I mean, you know, it was probably what everybody expects, really, to be honest with you. But still, I mean, he blows my mind. So. He's going to be definitely a new one, and but there, I mean, there's this. I'm sure there are kids somewhere that we don't know about right now, that kind of like are influenced by even more the old, you know, the older guys like us are doing. You know what I mean? So, it's, you know, I don't think it's something that's going to be going away. I think it's like a timeless thing. The guitar, for some reason, had its appeal. You know.
You know, absolutely. You know, you've been, you know, following a lot of bands, and obviously, you know, your music has inspired the new generation as well as the generation behind us. So, when you think of that, are there any new bands in the scene right now which are actually blowing your mind when it comes to guitar playing and, you know, the technical wizardry and the sense of melody?
Well, you know, to be honest with you, I haven't really been actively, you know, searching for it. So I can't say the names per se like that. But I could do tell you again, one more time, that my son is definitely, I'm not just saying because he's my son, he has that natural sense of melody and taste of, you know, choice of notes and so on, that it's the most important thing, more important than, oh, look how fast I can play and so on. So there's, you know, I'm sure there's many out there. I couldn't mention the names except for Antonio, but there you are.
True. You know, you still had that there was there's a saying from when it goes to Yngwie Malmsteen, less is not more, more is more. So even after decades now, has that view changed, or it's still right there?
No, it's definitely not changed.
I kind of knew it.
That's very much intact.
Ah, lovely. Yeah. You know, I always think of, you know, how your journey has been. I mean, even though, you know, it's, and not every journey is ever, you know, been blossom, but it's always been ups and downs, and you learn from the mistakes and you improve in life. That's how, you know, our life is. So there's one thing about you which I wanted to know was, when did you, or let me say, what gave you the idea of doing your first guitar flip?
That was just, you know, I was actually a little bit looking at, you know, I was obviously digging the Hendrix moves and stuff like that. And he did something similar to that, but he just kind of like put it on his back and hit the guitar like that and put it back. So I just started saying, well, I wonder what happens if you throw it really hard, it goes all around, you know? So I started getting late 70s sometime. I started doing that. But that, you know, but as well as doing that, you got to figure out a way where you can have the chord actually hang out and all that stuff. You got to know exactly when to do it so it doesn't sound silly and all that, you know. So it's a lot of stuff that's involved with that.
Indeed. So, you know, when it comes to touring, you know, you've always worked with some legendary, talented singers, be it Jeff Scott Soto, you know, Joe Lynn Turner, or even Tim Owens, one of my favorite, to name a few. So, have you ever considered working with them again, or maybe someone new in the scene that has kind of excited you to write something?
Actually, no, I have not, because I found myself very much very comfortable singing myself, first of all. Secondly, there is a certain disconnect when you write the song and you have someone else sing it for you. and it's kind of like a fakeness about it that you remember something. I always wrote everything. I wrote all the lyrics, I wrote all the melodies and everything. It's just somebody else sung it, you know. And to me, the singer is nothing else than a different, like a bass player or a keyboard player. They're not more important than any other musician, and they unfortunately seem to think that they are, you know. And I think I've kind of like had it with their sort of like self-absorbed, you know, sort of way, you know, and I'm very much against it. You know, no, I don't like that. I don't like any of those people. I don't like to do anything with them ever again. No.
All right, all right. And in the past, you mentioned, you know, classical figures like Paganini as influences. So, you know,
Yes.
what are your influences outside of music, if any? You know, maybe something in literature.
Oh, literature. Well, you know, I mean, I've always been reading a lot since I was a little kid. You know, and not so much anymore. You know, but when I was a little kid, I would read all that, you know, the horror novels and Clive Barker and stuff like that. And I always kind of like that stuff. But you know, I find myself writing lyrics more like words just come to me that are sort of like something I see, you know, or hear, or you know, whatever lyrics on World on Fire, or like Lost in a Machine about everybody stuck on their computers and so on. So it's like it's more like the lyrical content is always more a reflection of what I live, you know, what I see, you know, not so much.
Absolutely. You know, over the years, we've lost some legends. I mean, obviously your friends, you know, be it, you know, Cornell or, you know, legendary, you know, Lemmy. So many things have happened and changed over the years. And some artists who have been doing it right from the 60s, 70s still have that, you know, creative fire. I was, in fact, having a chat with Wolf Hoffman of Accept a couple of weeks ago, where, you know, there's no stopping for Accept. So when I look at these bands, you still inspire new generation of people to write music and remind them that music is much more than just speed, or it's the emotion that you connect with the fan base. Over the years, a lot of music has come out. Has there something been that has, you know, gained your attention, that there are still people out there writing memorable, good music than just, you know, kind of showing off their skills?
I think again, I kind of like have the same answer as the other one. I am sure that there's plenty of great stuff out there, new and old. But I kind of like, I don't really, I find myself viewing music as I wouldn't call it work necessarily, but it's too ingrained in my, you know, thought pattern and so on, that for me to listen to music, I will analyze it to death, you know. And it's like, to me, it's like no sort of like it's not a casual way of oh, I want to hear this or so on. So it's like, for instance, to get myself out of other things to you know, be more, you know, thinking about the things I would watch, like the news or tennis or something. You know, I wouldn't go, oh yeah, I'm gonna listen to this now, or I'm gonna watch this. You know, you know, and the music that I do, I would, if I would go on YouTube and I would put something on, which I never really do, but if I would put on like UK, like Al Holdsworth and stuff like that, and old Genesis with Peter Gabriel and stuff. I would never put on like something that, you know, is more closer to metal or whatever, you know. So, but you know, it's like I guess when you are like the creative element, so to speak, that's sort of like almost constantly put out, you're not so keen on the input, you know. I think it's just a natural thing.
Indeed it is. And you know, after this, you know, the gig in London, you have one more show coming up. What else? What's next for Yngwie Malmsteen?
Right, there's a one in the festival in Sweden there, and then after that, there's a long tour of the United States again. Then, from what I understand, there's something in Asia again, and then Europe, I think, in the spring. I'm not sure. I have to I have to look into that. But for sure, there's the American leg again after the European stint. And so, yeah, it keeps going.
No, that's fabulous. You know, Yngwie, you know, you came to India as well, and you know, obviously it's a completely different world than you know, the other male musician and rock musicians are used to. I'm right now in India, in fact. So,
really?
How was your experience?
I loved it. I think it was fantastic. I loved everything about it, the whole journey, and The people are amazing. The show is great. I mean, the whole nature around that area. I mean, I had a really, really fantastic time. I can't wait to come back.
That would be great. So before we conclude, I have one question which I want to ask. And as an artist,
Yeah.
I'm sure you would have seen that happening, since the time internet came into the picture. Is the album leaks. Now that's something that has become more like an inevitable thing. Somehow, some way, the album gets leaked, maybe a week, even a month earlier than the release. Do you think there's a solution for a problem like this, where an artist puts so much of effort, money, resources into it, and some way or the other gets leaked online, and then it's kind of demotivating for artists, isn't it?
It's a horrible thing. And if it weren't for the fact that the music itself is so rewarding to create, I don't think I would have done it anymore, because it's like, it's like somebody, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter what you make. If you create a movie or build a car or whatever, it's the amount of blood, sweat, and tears, and money, and everything that goes into it, needs to be rewarded. Funnily enough, I was talking to my son again about this. I think there might be a small resurgence of the vinyl scene again.
Yeah, it is.
So I might start doing that too, But no, it's a problem, definitely.
So, do you find any solution for it, or it's something artists are kind of living with?
It is in the sense where you don't feel that you get like the financial reward that you should get, but the satisfaction of creating a record, like a full album, and listen back to it and actually go, shit, that this is it's pretty good, I did well, that is an amazing feeling, because that's like a sort of legacy that will never go away. Even long after I'm gone, I still be there. It's like so yeah, I don't think it's just because the money part is you're being robbed, basically. I still love doing it. I still love to go in the studio and write and all that.
Absolutely. Anyway, we look forward to catch you guys in London, and I'm sure the moment you go on stage, people are going to lose their mind, and we're just going to wait for it.
I can't wait myself. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Yngwie. You have a wonderful, wonderful day ahead, and I'll catch you in London.
All right. Thank you so much. See you later.
All right.
Okay?
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. See you. Bye.